Hey, how's it going? Tim Brown. Hey, I'm talking to you about going hard on one social channel today and stop trying to master them all. It's What Else Wednesdays, where I talk about what else you should be doing besides SEO, PPC, and web design, which is the stuff that we do. And I'm going to slow down here. I do that at the beginning because this goes out of my story, and I'm just trying to give a summary so if somebody wants to watch the whole thing. But yeah, good to see you guys today. Feel free to comment and interact. I'm excited to chat, and I'll respond to your comments, questions, etc. Please give it hearts, whatever else. So I have a strong opinion on this. I think you should be hitting one channel, whatever that channel happens to be for you, and we'll talk about how to make that decision. But one, not all. I think a lot of people get really distracted and overwhelmed with social media. They think it's a burden because they are spending time on 5 and they are getting basically stuck. And I want you to make the decision, where are your ideal customers? So if you've got all of your customers kind of a certain type of person, is it business to business? Are you commercial? Are you talking to homeowners in a particular area? Is it rural? Is it city? What social channel do you see these people using the most? And it would not be a bad idea to really kind of pigeonhole them a little bit. It's generalization basically, and saying, I think my people are going to be on TikTok, or I feel like my people are going to be on Facebook, or I feel like my people are on Instagram. And really just making an educated decision over time and focusing all of your efforts there. So basically that's the most important part. I always say the most important question in marketing is, who is it for? And once you know who is it for, who is the marketing for, who is your product or service for, you can make much better decisions. Sorry, they're chipping some wood out here. So once you figure that out, everything is way easier. Once you figure out where your people are, get on that channel, stay on that channel. I think it'd be a little obsessive on that channel. It's not that hard if you're not trying to do all the channels. If you're not trying to master all the channels. It's way harder if you're sitting there flipping back and forth between all the apps and that kind of thing. It is not as hard if you've got one channel that you're really trying to hammer. Maybe different formats on that channel. I tend to think if you were to get into it now, Reels would be one really good format to push on. But besides that, it's really about your situation and who you're talking to. Connect, comment, like other people's content regularly, be genuine, be kind of interactive. And I was talking about this yesterday on a I did a long text thread. Damn, that's loud. Sorry about that. If you guys can hear all that in the background here. But basically the big thing is creating content for them and not your peers. I think that this gets really, really distracting. Creating content for your peers, because your peers are generally not going to buy from you. Maybe they will. Maybe you're a roofer and you're selling, you're a subcontractor or something like that. If that's the case, go for it. But I tend to think if you have the ability to go direct to the people that are the final purchasers of your item, that's usually a good thing. So that seems to be really important, because there's a lot of roofers and other contractors that are making content for each other, and it can be very, very distracting and very, very wasteful for your marketing. And then people they wonder, why am I not making money off of social media or off of my, why am I not getting leads? Well, you're going to get more leads if you took every single piece of content you put out and said, hey, how would this be the most useful to my actual ideal customer? And actually basically talk to them one-to-one and focus on them. So who is your ideal customer? Is it, the 38-year-old, 48-year-old housewife that doesn't care what the price is and just wants the highest quality? How could you get obsessive about making each piece of content for her and not for your peers? And I think it's distracting because people will, haters will comment on your Facebook ad, and then you always get that in your head, and you're like, oh, I'm going to make content and I'm going to show them. It's like, no, don't, just delete and block, and don't care. Don't think about those people all the time. It's not worth it. And usually they're not as successful as you anyways. And I'm not even talking about my own thing. I don't really get that many haters on my Facebook ads, but I see contractors getting haters on their Facebook ads all the time and getting really distracted by it. So the next thing is, I'm not saying not to touch the other marketing methods. I'm going to go in this other room because it's very loud behind me. I apologize. I'm not saying not to touch them, but I'm saying just spend 80% of your time on one. You know what I mean? Then you can repost to the other channels. Like I used to do this on LinkedIn, and now I'm really going hard on Facebook. Whatever one you really push on, that way you're thinking about that audience, your primary audience, and then I repost my stuff to LinkedIn and stuff like that. So you'll notice this on people even that have mastered social media and really are really good. So like Dmitry Lipinski on YouTube, TJ McCormack on TikTok. Not to say they're not good at their other channels, but they're really pushing on these this one channel, and then you'll see them kind of go off into these other secondary channels. There are people, I think, and I'm starting to try to do this where I'm getting a little bit better at some other channels, but it's with the help of other people. I don't delegate the whole strategy, but I've scaled out what I'm doing. So we have YouTube videos that then turn into Reels with an outsourced partner. And I've got a couple other things that kind of just like happen automatically without me constantly thinking about it. I think that that's a good way to do it if you start to see some return on social media. I mean, literally for us, we get like a lead a day off Facebook. So like that's what you're headed towards. You're headed towards lead generation regularly, rhythmically. And that's, you kind of gotta, it feels a little bit like belief though. When you're first starting to do social media, it's like, I believe this is good for my business, but I'm not sure. And you kind of just, there is a lot of, they call it dark social. There's a lot of people watching your stuff that aren't liking and commenting. So I'm basically telling you to act as if this is going to get you business, and to focus primarily on one channel and focus completely on your ideal customers, and you will get business. You will get business. All right. And then I'm just going to go over some little things here too. And I'm hoping some of you guys comment below and say what's up. But it's all good if it's just a little, I think it might have been the noise in the background or something that's a little distracting. Usually we have a little bit more, usually I have a little bit more people in here. Comment, appreciate you guys. So I always say respond to all comments, and then basically involve your team. So if you've got other people on your team, social media is better as a team sport. And I know I've been doing this ever since probably about 11 years ago or something like that. I worked at a restaurant, and I became the social media guy at a restaurant. There you go. What's up, Eric? Good to see you, brother. Unified Roofing and Solar and San Diego Roofing. Eric Richardson, appreciate you, brother. So ever since I was back in the day, I worked at a restaurant called Cafeteria in Uptown Minneapolis. And I literally, I had no shame. I would post something. Let's say it was like we had this thing called the Hangover Helper, which was like this big breakfast meal. I'd post a picture, maybe try to make a joke or do something silly or something like that. And then I'd go to everyone, I'd be like it. Like it and comment on it. I had no shame. And I knew that and it was a little easier for the algorithm back then. If I knew my whole team liked it and commented on it, I knew we'd get a algorithmic momentum, and we would get probably 40, 50, in some cases 150 likes on that photo. And we would literally have more business, it felt like, each day that we would have something like that take off. So basically have no shame and tell your team. I'm not saying to go to them personally and say, like it and comment every single time, but basically just tell them every time you're in your feed and you see something from our company, it really does help our business to like and comment and interact, and genuinely too. Don't just say, yay, if you possibly can. And like I said, respond to all the comments. How many pieces of flair would you wear at the restaurant? We didn't wear flair, but it was an interesting restaurant. It was, if anyone is watching this in Minneapolis, it was kind of a Uptown Cafe. It was kind of known as like late night, like there was brunches, but then it was like also like late night kind of fun place. So it was a good time. I ended up working for corporate after I worked there, and I just kind of learned a lot. They have like 8 restaurants, and Manny's in Minneapolis is one of their restaurants. So which is a big steakhouse that you should definitely check out if you come into Minneapolis. They bring out the cart with all the giant slabs of meat and stuff like that. So it's kind of a good time. I'm going to tell one more story from working at corporate at that place, just to kind of round out the story. It's kind of unrelated, but I just want to round this out. So one of the things is they would always say, put the ketchup on the table, which basically means Ocean Air was a seafood restaurant that they had, and it was normally very fancy, but they wanted to make it more attainable kind of vibes and relaxed vibes in there, so they put the ketchup on the table. So I always use that for people's websites, that you want to put a representative, not the fanciest project that you've ever worked on, because you want people to feel comfortable eating there. And I think the same goes on projects on your website and on your social media. You want to show projects that aren't just so high end that people don't believe, that they don't feel like that's them. You want to show what you want to grow. There's another principle, I think, there. So show what you want to grow. And I think that goes with this social media stuff. Show what you want to grow and focus on your ideal customers and what social channel they are. Master that channel. Any other questions or things people want to talk about related to going hard on one social media channel and stop trying to win at all of them? Anything else you guys want to chat about? Otherwise, it's been a good time. Appreciate you. I try to stay disciplined on these lives, because I feel like live is a different beast. Sometimes I've gotten 12, 15, 40 people in the entire thing in here, and sometimes there's 2, which is all good. I'm just disciplined about it. All right, y'all. I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday. It's our quarter kickoff today, the second half of the day, so I'm pretty excited about that. Love quarter kickoffs. I love setting new goals. I love getting excited about what we've done as far as wins goes. I hope you guys are winning. Hope you guys are having a very good day. And I appreciate you. Bye.